Okay, so I'll tell you what I know. Like, and who knows what I know? Like, I don't know. I don't know what I know, but I'm going to share what I think I know. So, one of the things is, there's no songbirds again. Is if the door is open and the birds are out there singing, it's loud. Like, you could hear it. And so, yeah, it's weird. Because that is like, I don't even know, how long it was happening before I noticed. That's the thing, too. It's so weird how unaware we can become of our environment. And people don't realize that they become unaware of it. But you do. And they distract and distract. I've got the automatic cars coming back on my mind and them giving you pings and stuff. So your mind just goes lazy and then it relies on these pings and it's in your brain. And they know this stuff. This is like Pavlov's studies of how to set the brain. So they know this stuff is not good to get people's minds to rely on their car pinging when it's getting near something. It would not surprise me if that is well, it would be, um, somebody would have to be going back and forth between one of those cars that pings and doesn't ping. And it depends on probably the drive. If you are every 2 seconds in traffic and you're having to stop every 2 seconds, but if you are driving out at any time or your mind goes into that place of relaxation, then you lose grasp of it's the creation of idiocracy, dumbing us down, making us more stupid. You know what? Another thing too about that is it's wild because there's these parents who think that their kids are being so indoctrinated at school, which yeah, they are. We all were. And then it's up to the ones that have kids in there to catch on and do something. Like, what am I going to do? I'm crazy grandma who keeps saying, get them out of schools. Who cares about fucking diplomas? Who cares about that shit? That's all fucking shit they make up. But it's so programmed into people that, I just sound foolish, but that's what has to come on to all these people. But the thing is so wild is like when you're sitting there saying your kids are so programmed and indoctrinated, especially if you have somebody saying, pull them out of schools, like, why do you have them in? And, because, there's all these bars set by society. But that's the thing. That's your programming. You're keeping them in on your programming. So who needs to break their programming? The parents. It's like people got to realize their own. It's real easy to see other people's, but we got to realize our own. That's where change starts to occur. Just pointing out what's going wrong with everything. What does that do? What has to be done is that we have to see that where the changes can be made. That's how you keep going. You figure out how things need to change, how to make things better. You don't just go down the drain. That poor spider. Hold on, this is my third cup. It's, now it's 10 to 5. No, 10 to 6. It's like 10 to 5. That's way earlier. No, it's 10 to 6. Hold on, this is almost gone. Well, there's more. And so but the UK riots, like the riots in England, have gotten really extreme, and there's so many people too speaking out about it. And I had just seen this one video where it was somebody who was blaming it all on the right. The right are so racist. That's why they want the immigrants out. The right are, well, basically, that's it. They're just racist too. That's why they want the immigrants out, because they've got a problem with racism. This other side believes that the only problem is these people's problem because they don't have a problem with the immigrants. But the thing is more complex. That's the thing, is everybody's got to see the complexity, because the complexity is the unraveling of our set pole standards. So you got to unroll it. You got to unwrap it. And the Because the whole thing with them putting those people everywhere in all these different countries, which, when you're focusing on yours, you don't even realize like what they're flooding all these other ones, even when you hear. But see, also, this is a part of their manipulation, because it's all manipulation. This is all the puppet masters. So this, that happened the other day at the little girl dance, Taylor Swift dance class or whatever it was. And the guy came in just, because he couldn't do this because they don't have those. So he has to do this. So, like, I don't know. What are we going to do? We're stuck with the killers. Maybe we want them something to give us a clean shot. Like, just hurry and take me out. Don't sit there and torture me to death. So, but that's the thing too, is like the people who are doing those things, these interactions, the timing is exact. You are supposed to be there. If this affects you and you're there and you are taken out by it, then it is your life's destiny. It's your story. It's a part of your story. It's not something you can run from. It's not something you can change. So, these crimes happen in soul. It's a soul thing. So it has to do with your lessons, and what's going on with your soul group and what you're learning and all these different things. So it's not, we can't run from killers. If they're going to kill us, either they're not going to kill you because you have nothing to do with their stuff, and you're just an observer watching things play out because something's gotten your attention, or you are in the group that is playing this out and see how they use this stuff. Like I said, when Lifetime movies, it's like they take our stories and then they use them. But you use them to entertain each other. Well, I've always found it rather entertaining, but I don't know. I look at things different than a lot of people. So I don't know. Hold on, because a lot of people are just so judgy and so hateful and so, I don't know. I've never understood how people think they're so much better than other people. It's like, I've always found that very strange. That's something I remember way, way back, always being a consistent thing that I have found strange. So, hold on, let me drink this. But how the incident was used by the media, apparently there's a whole thing in the UK that they can't say who does the crime. It's somebody's arrested, then I don't know. They have to be convicted before they tell. I don't know at what point. It's here. It's like they do it. It's like they purposely release somebody's name. I don't know. Some of it's distractions. It's all different things. Over here is so chaotic with the media, like how all the stuff plays. There's just a lot going. But so over there, they aren't supposed to release the name. Well, some media or something, but this is what they're doing, the puppet masters. So they release it to the media that it was somebody who was seeking asylum coming there that didn't belong there. They weren't a citizen, and now they're rampaging. And so that's what set the whole thing off. People started getting so pissed, and it fed this thing. See how quickly they can start a civil war? Because that's what they are got to the point in wherever this is in England. They keep saying the town, but I don't know exactly where it is. I don't know how big it is or anything like that. Like, I haven't done all this research, but I'll tell you that there's so many people live at this protest, and I've seen so many different things happening, and it's getting way more violent than they have now started with the looting. When I saw the one, there was cops out in front of the stores that were broken, but they were making, oh, you want those shoes and stuff? And so now they're just taking this stuff. And the people who are chanting and stuff, they want these other people out of their country. And so then these other people are like, well, we want him in our country, so how about that? You guys are a bunch of racists and all that. So they get this stuff going because they get both people not thinking straight. Because the one people, the SJWs, social justice warriors, they don't even think about a community and economy and stuff like that. The other people, they get so focused on, don't tread on me, and that it just becomes a battleground. And it's so important for us to all put down our weapons. But see, this is something that we're in the process of learning. Like, we can't do anything about this stuff other than observe it happening. And it's all these different groups. Like I've said, there's people here, who are coming to complete stories from fucking the Roman times and those wars and stuff. Like, we've already had that come into our awareness of how many people are here who are very focused all day long on the Roman Empire. I was like, what? That's something I don't think about. But we have all these different people through different times and playing different parts. Like I've said, this is a wrap up, and it's not the exact stories. It's not like Julius Caesar has to be here. No, it's these patterns of completion. It's like a snowflake completing to become the snowflake. So it's a completion. So then it's an age of learning, and so it's like a snowflake in the universe of, it's like a template. Like, you could go from the future and go back to that template, if it's at the Akashic records or however this, but that template, that snowflake, that would hold all the information, and we are the weavers of this snowflake through our experience. And so it's always being created, but there is a template of information that is created by our experiences and held in like a book of records or something. It's accessible to everyone, but it's like the thing is about space. What you got to realize, is that everything is on top of everything else. So it's realms and stuff. Like, there's things that are on top of us that are surrounding us and stuff that we don't have awareness of, because we have awareness of our experience, so we don't have awareness of that. But these are like more opening up so that we're seeing more about realm. And it's all going at these steps, these developmental steps. So the reason we're in this part of the awakening our consciousness is so that we can adapt, but we can also absorb information as it comes to us. Because before, we were very closed off to a lot of information. Each person closed their own doors and windows. Some had some open and cracked open and stuff. So it's all different variables, because that's what everything in the universe is about. It's all the variables, every opportunity. And that's why, as this other souls, and you're very in a low state of existence, when you are in a state of judgment of all the variables. Like, why are you the one in the say of all things? That is very stuck in ego. And see, this is a realm where you can work through that and observe it in yourself. And so you can see these things so that you can heal these things. So that is, this purpose of, a soul's existence, of going through these, storylines, what people think are so atrocious and hard, which they are. I mean, this is like we're playing advanced games here. This is very advanced when you really think about it, about how complex it is, because it's like, okay, so in those movies where like an archaeologist and they're going or whatever, and there's a hidden message they're following, but then a light or water or something can get on it and a whole nother message shows up. See, we're following the one map. We haven't with the there's There's a hidden map. And so, that's what we're waking up to, is the hidden map, the truth, the part that fills in all. Yeah, that's cool, because it is like this map, but then the map underneath, it like fills in, and it adds in all these other words that you don't see without it coming through. So it gives you a whole new message. So that is what we're in this process of having occur, is so it's like the water's being spilled on the message, and we're starting to be able to read the message. But see, it's like we had to get, it's like this awakening thing has to happen, like I said, because you aren't just learning things, you're remembering things, and you're remembering things that are in you. So, Stella, what is it? See how she does this wail thing, this high-pitched, like, cry thing. Do you want to come in? What are you whining about? If you want to come in, get up and come in. You know I'm doing my work. Max now, he's very much like, as soon as they see this come out, they're like, okay, it's going to be a while. Let's just go lay down. Usually just lay down and go sleep, but she's like, this has kind of been an all-night thing. So, so let me think. Okay, so they're creating this huge civil war thing that's going on, and which is also semi a distraction too. I mean, they've got everybody's eyes on it, so they can be doing anything they want because they've got all of us looking over here. So, but it is big stuff, We do need to be paying attention over here, but we also need to, keep looking around and paying attention to everything. I can't tell her. Tell it. See? Then she goes down the porch and goes to her pool. I cleaned her pool again so that she could drink out of it again, because she has such a fit. I swear to God, it's like Stella's time. It's like everything's on Stella's pace. We gotta go at Stella's pace, and she'll start. And it's moving earlier and earlier. She'll start harassing me by 7:30 to go out and walk. And then by 9:30, she's harassing me to come outside and lay down. Now the sun, there's barely any sun in my yard. It's already to that point. And they can't get over the trees. It's so absurd. That's what really gave me some perspective, because I was just learning a lot about the flat earth thing, and then I move into this house. It's like, the motherfucking sun can't get over the trees. So I pay attention, because I've got like a ruler, of the trees. So I can pay attention how the sun moves, and it swings out. It doesn't go over us, It goes, swings out. But there's so many people who have caught on, like, that there's other sun, like there's something going on. We're not all under the same sun and stuff. And that's why, I have been saying for a while, it's like we're in different realities and different realms, but ours all kind of are in the same vibration. So we're under this enveloped, like an umbrella, which is just like the firmament and the ice wall. So we're in this bubble together, although it's different realities and stuff. And that's one thing that people kind of catch on to, because I'll hear them talking about, especially LA. Hear a lot of people talking about the dark energy, how LA has its own energy and stuff like that, which, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is all these places, they all have their own energy. They all have their own separate realm. Like, if you didn't include anything else going on in every place, just was its own focus, it's very different worlds. And that's what we're going to go more into it as a direction, rather than it's just because right now it's like that. But they have got everybody's attention all the time, because they've got to control us, because that's what they want to master. They just want to be like, take over the world. And I don't know if, for so long that they just were happy just to have, some control over us or something. But then maybe it is once they started realizing that they were ending, that they thought that they could make us end first or something. But you can't change the universe's storylines. Like, that's why I have said, like, you can't, you got to realize the things you can't change. The things that you have control over is your attitude, how you look at things, how you feel about things. And that is what you're here to gain momentum on into your development, in your healing, your persona as is out of this victim way of responding to your environment. And so it is uh, this other step. It is the quantum leap, is this direction of responsibility in yourself, but realizing also that you don't have what you don't have control over, not to try and keep driving yourself crazy to try and control things you don't have control over. Hold on. If you want to come in, come on, hurry up. Hun. Grab the medicine. She keeps whining and she just wants medicine. But she should probably come over here and lay down. We'll have a little earthquake here. So, anyways, okay, let me think. Because the protest thing is being so huge. Well, I wouldn't call it protest at this point. Is, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to be calling it a civil war in no time. And, but so on this thing, because this is the thing, is like, they've brought, like, especially in America, like, I don't know all of the different ones in all these different places, because there's obviously, all this was done on purpose. They flooded them in Ireland and Scotland, because in Ireland there's a big thing going on too. And so there's a bunch, even in places where, like, we're not all flooding into India, and they're having a huge civil war. In Africa, so all these places, this is the time. This is how, and you got to see how the different situations are playing out. It's because the energy there has to play out this certain way. It's like the completion of the snowflake. So it's, the energy was set in motion, a long time ago. And so it's got to play out. That's what I try and say about these places that will be isolated situations that will be extreme. But it's this energy that was created has to play out. And some of the stuff, like, Houston, San Antonio, like some places in South Texas. But, when I went to school in Texas, so they were big on teaching us about the Alamo and stuff, the Last Stand. And so there was a lot of battles there. And I'm sure, it was this, because it's kind of like, because in America, what they told us is our history is that Columbus came over here and he discovered America. And he was kind of a dick, and so he killed a bunch of Indians. And then the people, but word got back, as he went back and told them, oh, America's full of land, full of opportunity. Now, how in the world do all these people think something that is just, land is full of opportunity? Like, right there, I question things. Like, people are wanting to go up or where these natives are and stuff, and then go and battle the land that they don't know rather than have security. But people were overtaxed and stuff. But see, this is the thing that they lie about, because all these people were already leaving. There was already a lot of people who were leaving and settling over here. They were leaving on different ships and stuff. There was lots of different people who've always been escaping tyranny by these controlling puppet masters, because they're always wanting to take from us, and they're always figuring out schemes to do it. And they made a big thing, they're taxing and licensing and stuff like that. And then they buy the insurance companies to tell them we have to have that too. So all the stuff is always just so that they can take from us and take from us and take from us, and then keep raising taxes. I just saw a thing somewhere where the taxes just got raised. It was so absurd. But that is these different things that have to keep playing out in these different places. is, these certain energies. And that's, we just gotta, let things go. I would imagine over here where I am, like, you go through streets and stuff. Like, when I was at my mom's and we were going out to eat, and we were meeting my daughter, and we were driving, and it was all these streets, and they were all, Indian tribe names or something. And my mom said something about this is where they battled them or something. And it was like that they, I don't remember the conversation. I don't remember the history or anything. I just remember it being just, uh, like they kill all these people, and then they just put up names or like a memorial to represent all these people that were slaughtered over here. They were just trying to live their lives peacefully. They weren't trying to, tell everybody else you can't live here too. But these people wanted to, kill them. So they had, and I talked about this a long while ago, but it's like that it's like that I see it the same kind of like, in Australia, they start taking all these prisoners or something over there. So it's, if they brought like prisoners over here, and people who would do anything for money, and then, give them some guns and some horses and tell them to go out and, clean up the area. And then those people started, running, becoming soldiers. But there were the soldiers before were this, from the other countries. But then they started creating them here too. But it is, but it's always, starts with just these people. The same thing as what they're doing right now is bringing these immigrants, these people, because when you see these lines and stuff, there is like, these aren't families, these aren't dads and stuff. It's quite clear that they have got men here to, go against the other ones, to create this hostile environment, especially start giving the ones all the stuff. This is a pattern that they have always done. You got to just see through their patterns. You can't get caught up in their traumas. We got to be beyond that. We got to be smarter than that. And because that's how they play you, and they keep you going and feeding off your energy. It's like feeding off the energy of ignorance and ego. And so you got to see through it. And this is their pattern, what they do. And, however the things are going to play out, like the people who are out there playing it out, it's like I've said, it's like the Roman soldiers are back to, win or whatever it is. It's all these different energies, these different patterns completing. So, there's going to be people who are going to do this stuff. All I'm saying is to the people who are looking at things and don't know what to think, I'm trying to give you perspective over possibilities. I'm not going to just tell you, well, this is the way it is, because you got so many of those people out there. You either can hear me and it like makes sense, or you hear me and I sound crazy. It's like I've said, it's all in the receiver. And so the so they bring all these men who, I don't know, I think that they definitely offer them things and money and incentives. And they've always used like incentives of power. And they could be, I mean, they were already offering them jobs as cops and stuff. So, uh, and see, as what they have always done, give them these jobs as, you're in control of this town, And then they get this thing going where then they get these really rich people to come in. And then there's all this is where this all starts, this, pain, like there's a different set of rules for the people who have money than there is for the people who don't have money. And so, and there's people who don't have money, they get caught up in trying to, kiss the ass of the people, like the brown nosers. And then is they'll do anything for money. And so that's part of our society. It's part of, lessons. It's a part of what souls have to see through. They have to go through the experience to see through the things, because then it's marked inside of you. Like I said, you can't get away from you. And some of the lessons and stuff are, you know, hard. And so you will, it's a battle for your sanity, like it's a battle for your soul. It's a battle for you to, you know, cut yourself some slack and not be so hard on yourself, for one thing, and to realize, you know, you're an eternal being who is going through experiences to learn about themselves. And that's what everybody's doing. So that's why we need to, you know, not be sitting and judging everybody else for what they're going through or learning. And also, it's a big one for me, is this letting go, dropping, feeling like I have to control things because I can see things. Like that is definitely a challenge, you know. And it's weird too, because there's a part of like, definitely before, when I was younger, I definitely felt like, you know, I owed it to him. Like, I gotta tell him. And it's just so weird. Like, it's weird when I look back at some of the stuff, and you know, how people would react. And so, yeah, it's just, you know, I have a lot of things replaying from my past. And that is one thing too. I think you can tell how healed you are when you're going through this replaying, how triggered you are by things, how you feel when you watch the replay. And you have to see yourself in some peculiar, some parts of me, like I look back and it's like, man, it's so weird. Like, I don't even understand myself. I don't understand, but, you know, I'm not going to judge myself. Like, I know there was reasons, you know, of why I made choices that I made and why I did the things that I did. And I'm not going to be, uh, you know, mean to myself about it, even though, but that's a part of healing. Because, you know, there is a point where you are real mean to yourself about it, where you just get really down on yourself. That's the part where you start feeling super suicidal. You just feel so down on yourself. Like, oh my God, how could I be so stupid? What is wrong with me? God, I am such a worthless piece of shit. You know, you'll go through that whole thing. And it is so trippy too, how I feel so much. That's like going back to this person who you were born to be, going back to yourself, back before you were judging yourself and trying to change yourself to please other people. It's like this, the shedding is taking you back to the original part of you that you came into this world to be. And then you got so confused and beat down. But then when you start healing and you start seeing, like, you're letting people beat you down that are beating themselves down, like, you know, we can't be caught up in other people's definition of us. You know, we are the ones who are defining us, and everybody's perspective and their way they're defining things is becoming from, you know, their broken views of life. And so it's like you're trying to, like, you're looking through yours and you think it's too shattered, you can't see, but, you know, you want to go and look through theirs and you think you're going to get a clearer picture, but it's more distortion. But you, for some reason, you look through other people's eyes and then you think that it's not distortion, that it is the truer version of yourself. But it can create so much confusion. I think that is what is so, you know, that's why so many people are on medication and stuff. And did you know that there's a whole, like, generation that is like, where there's all these nonverbal kids? Like, I saw somebody who was putting that together the other day, like these, the whole group of kids. Like, I don't know if it's born, like, but there's tons. And it is like, you know, this isolated, because that's what all their experiments are. You know, if we start breaking down all these different things about us in different time periods, the Gen X, Gen Z, like, that's what they need to be breaking down. When those people want to whine and cry about latchkey kids and shit, they need to also realize that that was a whole part of the experiment. It wasn't just your parents. Your parents were products of an experiment. And everything is about the destruction of family and heritage, culture, anything that gives us an identity. They're trying to strip us of who we are, what we are. I mean, and, you know, they're hitting it hard on the gender thing. It's so wild, too. Because even when I was younger, and I thought that, you know, when I was growing and I wasn't turning, you know, girly, I thought, you know, something was wrong with me. I was like, man, something's wrong. It must be like, like I'm half boy and half girl or something. Like it was never like I wanted to be a boy, even though I thought like boys are lucky, they can just stand up and pee where they want and hold it, And I have been, like curious before, like I wonder what it feels like to have a penis. But I never wanted to be a boy. I never wanted to, play that role or any of that stuff. Never saw myself as like, I want to grow a beard. No, I'll sit out there with a mirror trying to plug hairs. Like, I don't want a beard. I don't want to be a boy. I like being a girl. So it wasn't that, and it wasn't that in my mind, but I definitely had body dysmorphia. I definitely, I was very confused. A lot had to do, I was confused about my size. That was really, something that was very strange to me because I was having that experience when I was growing. I was going so much bigger than everybody, but then I was not going more girly. And so that really messed with my head. And so that caused, the body dysmorphia. And then plus how, if you try and stay thin, that people start telling you you're toxic, you need to eat more and stuff like that. So that also is a part of like trying to settle into you and not what everybody else thinks. Like maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe that's what you're driven to do, but we're not all made the same, built the same, nothing. And so we have to find our own true identity in, this big sludge pool. So, I definitely can understand that feeling of being, confusion or whatever. You know, I think we all like go through periods of time where we just hate our body, like, and I think that is also a part of our indoctrination or something. And so, because there's ways that we can learn to accept and love ourselves. Like, that's what I've done. That's what I've done at this point, is learn how to love and accept myself. And this is a thing too, is like people are all out there looking for love. You are not going to find true love until you truly love yourself. It's impossible. You're only going to find love that is there also in search, but you are in search for somebody to give you something that you don't know how to give yourself. So you're trying to get it from somebody else. And so it is it's a toxic way that we go out into the world trying to complete ourselves. And then it even gets more shallow, because then we think like, oh man, I got a good looking one, and man, I scored. And and you could have all your friends, everybody at work. Oh my God, your husband's so good looking. But the husband could be a total dick, and only the wife knows, and everybody else thinks they're just so good looking. So there is, it's, uh, it is our, um, it's part of our learning, and it's part of our different experiences and what we're here to learn and see and stuff like that. But it is a part of our society, of this template, because you gotta always be thinking micro macro on the things we're working on. Is it's all coming to the surface. You can see as the stuff keeps playing out. And the which respect for animals is a huge one. And that's huge. Like, we've got to see ourselves as animals and be more respectful of animals, I think. But we'll see how it all plays out. But there's going to be a lot more empathy, and there's so much abuse towards animals right now. And you can see that energy just all being purged out. But so but so we have this part of society, it's very shallow, just, you're not going to give an ugly one the time of day. Like, wow, I don't want an ugly one. And so you want a good looking one. So and then there's like, even though we have all different taste, and that would be the majority, but there's still, there's those few people that we would all agree on, like, that they're good looking, all right. So there is those people, which was very few. And so, everybody's chasing the same very few, and we think that the very few doesn't get all up in their choices. So it's kind of absurd because people are not trying to connect on what's real. But the biggest absurdity to me is that how we are going out looking for someone to complete us, to give us the love that we don't know how to give ourselves. And when you are out in search for love and you are not in love with yourself, then you are bringing in other people who aren't in love with themselves. And they're doing the same thing. They're looking for somebody to complete them, to make them feel better, to make the world make sense to them. And so then that becomes the battleground where both people are feeling this push and pull. And it's, this creation of this toxic relationship. That's why I said both people feel abused. Like you can run around the world telling everybody how abused you are, but guaranteed, like I just saw a video where this guy, um, and this was a double stitch. So this is one I'm sure is going to be another one breaking and blowing up. Like I'm sure they'll have this guy's name, they'll have him hunted down, and he looks also like a very young guy. And I don't know how this video got made. If the wife had her camera sitting there, or they have, like a lot of people have these cameras around their houses and stuff, so they go back and look at the footage and so that they can show it or whatever. But so this is a young girl, like I don't know, she's 20, 22 years old or something like that, and she has a baby. The guy looks really young. He looks like, I mean, 20 years old. He looks like he probably doesn't have to shave much. That's how young he looks. And he's real tall and gangly, and he's trying to hold the baby, and he doesn't know how, like holding the head or whatever, and he gets frustrated, and she's trying to be too helicopterish, like, you just got to do this, you just got to do that. And that is going to be really overwhelming to somebody who has got their own issues. Even if people can hide their issues because they're tall and good looking, then that doesn't, you can't hide your frustrations when your frustrations come out, and your frustrations are triggers to something that is, a long time ago. His mom could have been just like right on him and telling him everything he did was wrong. And so somebody doing that to him is going to very much trigger him. And that's, these weird triggers that we all have. And we overreact and we get mad. And I'm not excusing this kid's behavior or anything, but I'm just saying that we got to see more to the stories of this stuff. And this is also because we need to learn to control ourselves, control your impulses. Because then, so she's, you got to hold the head, you got to whatever, like any new mom, we've done that, like we've all done it. And the person who's being triggered, see, that the most smallest thing can trigger them, the most regular thing that everybody else can handle it, but just they can't. But we got to start seeing more like, oh, you got something you got to go work on, dude. uh, you got some issues. Like we got to start seeing things a lot more, quicker. And so he, as he hands her the baby back, he does this like swipe, like a punch you in the face like that. And then as soon as she has the baby, he turns around and hits her in the face and just turns around and walks off. And so, yeah, you have these guys who are stitching it and being like, you little pussy bitch. Like, it's going to be the same thing. We're going after you. It's like, man, we do not want to but like I've said, these are all people in these different soul groups and stuff. Nothing is by chance. This is all, it's like watching a movie. That's why it's like watching a movie, because it is all these soul groups all playing out things. And when you're involved, because some will come right in. You don't need to chase it down. It will come to you. And so, but in this period of time where we are, coming out of our closed off spectrum of light, where we are only focused on ourselves, then we are opening up, and then we are seeing so much more, and so much more is affecting us. And so it is like Lifetime movie marathon in life. There's so much fucking drama. So anyways, I've got like a couple of open tabs here. Okay, so we got, their regular thing that they do all the time with the bringing in the people who they use as their soldiers to go against us, and they've got them all over the places. And the and then you have the people who are the beard, and so they're all over the place. But the thing is like people are making this against, immigration, but it really, it's against criminals. Like, that's what we got to narrow it down to. Is, they've dispersed a lot of criminals involved in all these, real people who were pushed to come here. Like, I don't know in some of the other places, but here we do have a lot of families and stuff. We do have a lot of husbands and wives and kids and stuff, not just all men. Even though we have a lot of men, the men are, the ones that are here for the instigation to, create this civil hostility so that I don't know, they want to just beat us down. That's why you can't be beat down by these fucking people. Like, people are so fucking pissed about this food stamp receipt. It's like, well, if you're giving them that much of your emotions, there's things you need to heal. So, that's where if you're pouring your emotions into something, that's where you got to see, like, oh, I've got some issues here. So see if I step back and I look at it and I try and break it down. Like, where are my issues coming from? Why am I so triggered or so, hostile about this? Because no matter what, we really are going to be going into this more period of time of open borders. So it's not going to be borders like what we know. And there is already a call in some place. Oh, it was the IRAQ, I think. They are calling all their citizens back because there's going to be a redistribution. And if you want yours, you need to get there. That's what I said. What did I say a couple years ago? I said, I think that it's going to do, that's what they're going to kind of do, is to kind of pull people back to their own places for the redistribution. And then once that, because there's got to be some changes that happen, because, people have got to learn to, we can't divide. We can't look at other people as like, well, you're from somewhere else. That's what they've done to us. We got to look at everybody as like, we're all humans. This is something too I was thinking about, because, when I was younger, and, my dad, we moved to Dallas, and, and I don't remember there being a bunch of darker skinned people in the Midwest. Like, I don't remember, that at all. And so when we moved to Texas, it was very, tons and tons of darker skinned people, because you have Mexicans, and then you have, I don't know, the indigenous people, black people. So there was tons of, it was a lot more colorful in Texas. But then, I did see a lot of racism, was a lot of hatefulness towards people just over the color of their skin. But there was a lot of this on the media of them creating fear in this, oh, well, you don't want them to leave their neighborhoods and move into yours. They're criminals. They're this. It was like all the time. And so they were creating this fear and this hostility to, that's their way of keeping people in their places. And we monitor each other. Oh, you keep away from me, oh, and they call each other names and stuff. They fight and get mad. It's like, because you don't even know each other. You just got to put down the stuff. Let's go sit down and have a beer and talk about things. And then you're going to find, like, oh, we have a lot more in common. Like, I thought that you were a weirdo or something. I thought you were weird. No, we all have things in common that we, set down the weapons and pick up a beer and talk about it. We don't want to talk about beer, because then if you have two, you might get a little pissy. Like, that's definitely, if you are drinking, that will bring a lot of stuff to the surface. So maybe a lemonade, lemonade or a tea. So, anyways, but it's the point is to, socialize and speak to each other and talk about things. Because is what I found, is that there was so much fear in regards to these people. But then once they had done their whole big thing, they're going to do this desegregation, which they were, I'm sure, were trying to create more attention. um, because they're not trying to do anything to better anybody's life. So and that's when they started busing the kids. So they bused all the kids from downtown Dallas, which was all black kids, and then they bused the kids from the suburbs. My school was called Thomas Jefferson, so it was TJ, and it was I think there was two schools that were picked, and mine was one of them. And so then they bused the kids from our school out to and I didn't know any of those kids. Like, so would have been when we were, and every kid was scared to death that they were going to be the ones that were picked. You had to ride the bus, you had to go to downtown Dallas, and you had to go to some other kid's school. It was all black kids. And I don't know how welcoming they were to the white kids, but I know at our school, where all of the black kids came into the white school, like we all got along. Like, it was like, these are the kids like you're sharing notes with and talking to, and all these boys were our sports teams and stuff. Like we all got along really good. And there was a couple of angry one, like Tina Darty. Like I said, she was pissed off, man. And she was much bigger too. She was bigger than the other kids. She was big, and she was this giant fro. I loved those fros. But they were already starting the thing of, shaming people over their hair, and there was a lot of girls who hot ironed their hair and tried to duplicate more, white girl hairdos, because it was like Farrah Fawcett, so they would do all these little Farrah Fawcett things. But I loved the fro, and they were so popular. Hers was huge, and she would walk, and her hair would bounce. It was really cool, but she was pissed off all the time. And that was probably had, stuff to do with being at home, and there's no telling, because that's the thing is we don't sit and talk to each other and see, why are you so mad? What's wrong? We all just react to someone's anger, and nobody feels connected or close to anybody. Everybody's just going around feeling isolated and alone and in their own anger. And that's what the creation of this victim, to keep us where there's nobody there for us. And even at this point, where the breakdown of the family, where they've got it so much division, where you've got a whole generation of kids who won't talk to their parents. It's so wild, because the parents that they won't talk to are all parents that were raised very much about being respectful. And, we respected our elders. If somebody was older, you just listened to them just out of respect. And, but anyways, and then you get these people who react to the rejection, and they become very hostile and hateful, and there's so much communication and difference where people don't understand what each others are saying. So it just creates more hostility and more anger and more confusion, where because everybody just, the parents want their kids to love them. They want to be heard. They want to be recognized as being individuals, just the same as the kids want to. So it's this whole thing. And you can bet your ass that the parents feel the same way as the kids, their kids do about them. They feel about their parents, like that they disappointed them. They weren't there for them. It wasn't like that they were doing it on purpose. It's not like, oh, well, I had great parents, and so now I'm going to go out and try and be the worst parent possible. It's like, no, it's been this constant state of confusion in people's lives, where people are trying to, please the puppet masters, to stay on, to do what you're supposed to do, get your taxes paid and stuff. So over here, they told us that they came and discovered this place and all that, but really we've been under the crown the whole time. So we're really, is an extension with England. That's why, to me, there's a lot about pay attention what goes on there, and Canada and Australia. Like there is some connection with the four of us, but we're paying. I'm sure that there's Australia's money goes back to the crown too. Like, I don't know. There's some of us that I don't know if it's through the bankers or whatever, but yeah, you got to pay attention to what's going on to me in some of these other countries, because that's what they're trying to do in all of the different ones. So when they're trying to do it on a smaller scale, so they release that information and then it takes nothing, snap of their fingers, and they've got like a civil war going. So, and I'm sure that that's what they want to try and do here, but I don't know if that's going to be the thing because they've got so much going with the other stuff. So on the weekend, I kept seeing, because this dinar thing, that's the big thing. And when, you know, the IRAQ was asking them to return for redistribution. So that is, I think that's the ones who use that DINAR. And so that is one that Charlie has said to be watching about. Like, all this stuff is where he had said that we were going to. There's just the thing is that we all wanted to be there way faster. But that's where you got to just kind of go with the flow and see, like, oh, well, yeah, I want to get there way faster. But look at this. It really is effective. It really is people waking up all the fucking time. So that is, you know, we just got to go with the flow. Even though, yeah, we want this to go fast. Like, come on. Especially if you've been awake for a while. It's like, Jesus Christ. But that is the stuff that, you know, for you to work on. You know, why do you feel like it has to be on your time? Why do you feel like, you know, you want to override everybody else's experience so it goes, you know, so you can be comfortable? So anyways, there's just things that learn and stuff through all of the different processes. But so they are saying that there was a lot going on with that money situation, and there was the Wall Street here was crashing hard over the last couple days, and so they were saying that today, Monday morning, there should be some big stuff that is going on. But mostly I've been seeing about the riots and stuff. So, but I just be watching for that, because there's going to be more crashing. They're also saying that there's more stuff where now they're saying again, like, they're sure Joe's gone, and that they are trying to do something. I don't know. Like, people are saying, like, that they think there's going to be some kind of release, because they've got to put, you know, somebody else in charge or something. I don't know. It's all, you know, this movie, it's all this just drama. You just got to watch as it plays out. Like, but there's more stuff that's going to keep playing out. And we still have this, like, 8/8, where everybody's like, this is a big date. And these energetic things that can happen. So things can break loose on these certain period of time. But we're in a period of time right now where they say that it's very, a lot of movement in the energy. So I would think there's going to be more breaking down for sure. And, but this could be, you know, because this is the big thing, you know, is the money crash and the government crash. Like, it's all going to go together. But still, like, I mean, the way it has been drug out, that can all still drag out, even though it's going to all go together. It can still, it's all going to be for the consumption of the people, the consumer, of how fast that they can take things. And so it's how fast the information can come, is how fast that the people can process. So we just got to, you know, go with the flow of how things keep playing out. But, you know, if you just even see stuff about the money thing, that to me just keeps confirmation. This is real. We're really going into this abundant time, this golden age, this time of welfare, or the welfare, the, the welfare. Why did I say welfare? The wealth, the wealth, the wealth. When I say a wrong word, then it makes me curious as to why. Because even on my fucking playlist, I do not understand. I even went through my playlist looking for all these songs that keep coming, and they're not on there. But then I start playing my playlist, and it's just all these weird songs keep coming on. And then I even caught it on one, and I go and I look, it's not on the playlist. It's like, what did I push a button that just said just throw random songs in to my thing or something? Like, I don't know. It's some sort of weird glitch. I don't know what the hell. But when a song comes on like that, then I'll oftentimes think, oh, okay, well, this has got to have a message. And then when I listen for a message, there will be like certain words that will just like come out at you. but then you won't be able to really make out the rest of it. So, that to me is like, I don't know, an acknowledgement of communication. So I think that is, something just to have awareness of. But it is weird. My playlist, I've had it for years and years, and it's always the same. And all of a sudden now it's just like, ugh, it's weird. It's like, I don't know. So, okay, so watching the money thing, that should say, and then seeing all of this, what's going on with, the WAR over in that place where there's a lot of energy that has to play out, you know. So it won't surprise me at all if some places are just blown right off the maps. And but there's other worlds there. That's the thing. Is there's worlds stacked upon worlds, and that's where I don't know how it all works, but that to me is where we start being able to figure out how to go through into all these different worlds. So they're not just right here. It's like this time traveler. Like you're able to just go in them, just like in the Barbie movie when she was just going through all those different realms. She just walked through, and then sometimes she'd have to get on a boat or get on a horse or whatever. It was just a way to get through each separate reality. And so, but we have them all stacked up like that, and we think that we've got to go through, we're going somewhere, but I don't think it's like that. I think it's different. I think maps are an illusion in a way, because I don't think things are set on a plane like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just know, like, when I see it, it's like having different places all around, and we think that we got to go like this to get here and there, but really we don't have to. Like, I don't know, we'll see as things keep opening up and stuff, but I know that things are going to be changing around our travel and our understanding of the world around us, and definitely the things are going to be changing on the money matters, because we're going into a time period of learning without that being the lessons. Like, we learned those lessons, so now we got to move on to some new lessons. And they're going to be a lot more happier. Like, it's going to be a lot more, and it's going to be more productive, because we're going to be more in tune, more in a harmonic state, more in the harmony of the planet, rather than in this fight. It's like this fight with the planet, but then it's like being in this reverberation thing, because you can't exit it. You're in the bubble. And so, but you are like this battle with the energy. So we are going into this more harmony, but there's also that spreads out, because it's like we are connecting, we're connecting, like think about the firmament and the ice wall going, then that connects us to more of the energy we're creating. So that expands that energy. So that is, that's the expansion of the universe. And that is why this is so significant, this bubble of reality that is here. Oh, so kind of like a disease. That's why there's so much in the macro thing. In the micro, so much disease, and so much about tumors, and this toxicity is created and encapsulated, and that is what we have here. So this toxic energy that's not good for anybody. It's not good for the people in it. It's not good for anybody. And it was only good for the few, but it wasn't really good for them, because they are not making their profit off of it in an artificial substance They don't, there's no growth with them. Like, we always are growing. That's why I said they're not growing. Like, I don't even know. These people who've been around for a really long time, I don't know when they go what happens. I've heard things, like I've heard they go into some kind of a energetic thing to just be redistributed. So to me, it's like a higher self, where you go back into this higher self and then they go back out as different. They are not going forward. It's not like this ascension, like where we're going to go forward. We're going to keep our character alive through all these different changes to go into the new age, which is the thing that's more of unheard of, is like leaving one age and going into another and remaining the same character, because it's always been like these endings. But we're making this big shift. This is a quantum leap. We're remaining the same characters as we go into a whole new age. And so we are taking forward information. We're taking forward a template of creation. And so it is, it's profound. It's like, why, there's so much involvement with all these other beings and stuff. This is very big, what's happening. And and plus, these other beings and stuff, these other beings are, our friends and families from the heavens. Like, these are people that, we all know. They're here trying to talk to us and assist us through this transition. And so it's, they're all being a part of it too. And so it's this huge expansion, but the disease that's being dismantled, the encapsulated thing where it was all of this toxic energy that was being held. And it is like how the universe works in the same kind of format as what they try and create, because like the universe sent all of this like light, and all these different beings would come here to bring in light, to bring in new information. But there was so much rejection and stuff like that that has occurred throughout of information, because they want to keep everything the same. And so now, though, that is why it was such a huge amount of light that came in all at the same time, because it was to build this momentum, is to change directions. So it was flooded, the universe flooded it with light. So all of these different beings that were more from light came in to be a part of this wave of change. But it's not like, it's more like, the light has lived lives, it's lived all these lives here too. It has, you couldn't be of the light and be of ignorance. So it is, where you think of like angels and stuff, all these advanced beings. And so that's what, there's a lot of advanced beings here that have gone through these processes before. So that is like these warriors and stuff that are here for this change. And because that's what builds the momentum for this creation of this expansion. But that is, it creates this tension. Oh, because yeah, when you keep thinking a certain way and then somebody gives you new information, even if you are resistant to it, it still doesn't shut the fuck up, because it keeps replaying and replaying, because it's the creation of change. And so that is all of this information that comes in. It is this creation of this momentum to take us in this new direction. But that also is what dissolves the parameters that created the bubble, the encapsulated experience. So that is like in the universe, like how you could see it, is like the removal of the tumor. And oh, so like as the tumor is removed, all of the you know, like if you were removing something, there would be like stuff that's hanging on it, like particles and stuff. And so it would be removing that, would have stuff that was attached to it. So that's what I'm saying is like there's a lot of people who are attached to these certain ways. And, you know, the way to detach is to reprogram yourself. The way to listen to more information and open your mind and see more and stuff. That's how you can, you know, let go of things. And so many people, like, I mean, we're still in a part where so many people are holding on for dear life, trying to keep this three-dimensional story going, enjoying the ride. And so, but the 3D, three-dimensional is the part that's going to break apart. This part of this world that was, you know, this created part that was just, it's like Farmville or something, keep you trapped in it so you can't get out of the the corn maze or something. So this is, you know, so we can get out of it. And but there's so many people who are still, you know, trapped in it. But that's how you see, like, they're the ones who are holding it up. They're the ones that keep it going. So that's why they have to see the error of their ways. They have to get hit hard by something. And, you know, it could be the nuke, it could be the money, it could be like, there's going to be all different things. And we're, you know, it's already going in all different ways. So it's going to affect all different people in different places in different ways and stuff. But we'll all get onto the same page. We'll all get into the state of abundance, in this state of acceptance and of love and unity. And the people who can't get there, see, they go with the other. They're a part of the tumor being removed. They're out. Your energy has to match. I've said that before. You can't move through the universe. You can't move through energy that you don't match. You have to be at the same resonance, the same vibration to move through it. And so, anyways, we're moving into a higher vibration. We're moving into a place like where you need to love yourself and not be having expectation that other people can love you enough that you can love you if they could love you. But because that's just an endless battle of two people trying to get somebody to love them, and both people being frustrated and having their own issues, their own technological difficulties. So that is why we have to, you know, to me, raise the bar on loving yourself, you know, figuring yourself out, loving yourself, and moving through that kind of energy. I thought of this book that I should write, 7 Years of Celibacy. And because there is, you know, it's not a short time of learning to love yourself and becoming your true self, or you're not triggered by what everybody thinks or whatever's happening and stuff, that you just go with the flow and you go into states of reflection and process, and you know, can put out more of love than what you're trying to take in. You know, you're looking for balance. Yesterday I was in a mood too, boy, when we went on that walk. And I always think, because I be like, God damn it, son of a bitch, like while I'm walking. The dogs are twisting around me, and I'm just like, son of a bitch. I was thinking, anybody who listens to me out here probably think, God, that girl is such a bitch. She's so angry all the time or something. But I just show my emotions. I don't try and hide them. I let them go. I let them go. Set them free. Set my emotions free. But, you know, I'm not going to go on a raging spree or something. But I'm not going to hold them in and stifle them. And I'm going to be real. You know, I think that that's what's important. Be real. Because it makes you feel better. Like, who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to be perfect for? Because bet your ass they're not perfect. So, anyways, just remember, as you're going through all this stuff, remember what it's all about. Learning how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So, anyways, let's start this day and put out a good attitude. We're going to have a loving day today, even if the economy doesn't crash. So, talk to you later. Bye.